this might be, for me, the album of the year. I know that this album, Michael, by Killer Mike, has been out, Grammy nominated, everything. Me, this album is hip hop gold. So, Killer Mike, if you have to see this, thank you. I still remember hanging out with you in San Diego, California. Sonos sponsored a few. LP was there. It was a Work Tools headlining outdoor festival, and we provided. Oh, it's really awesome. 11 years later. All right. So, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the weDISCOVR daily sales live stream that currently I'm calling our Daily Bread. And we are here to definitely check in on how are we doing with our sales campaign around what is called Gift Run. So context, if you're just tuning in, weDISCOVR is on a mission to revitalize cities, specifically through their spaces, their commercial spaces, such as cafes, restaurants, hotels, rooftop terraces, lounges, co-working spaces, bowling alleys, museums, any space that virtually needs more love for people to discover it more foot traffic that gets killed by the Google algorithm. Google is the adversary. I didn't say enemy, I said adversary. Meta is the adversary. TikTok is the adversary. We capture signals offline that these platforms they don't see and they don't care about. And the way that we're helping these cultural gems, these underrated, underestimated spaces, is by connecting them with cultural ambassadors such as athletes, activists, politicians, musicians, comedians, virtually any community builder that has an audience online and wants to host them in real life. We connect those cultural ambassadors to these spaces so they can bring their online community out to in real life experiences. In the process, we get to bring people out of their digital silos. We get to combat digital fatigue, isolation, because believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the middle of a true epidemic, a psychological epidemic where we are at odds with one another simply because we forget that everyone is right. According to your moral perspective, everyone is right. And so how does this relate to sales and to a sales campaign? Well, as I mentioned, we have a campaign that is called Gift Run. Gift Run Berlin. We are in Berlin. We are a U.S. registered company operating in Berlin. And Gift Run is all about activating all the stakeholders in our operating system. You can ask me later, well, what's the difference between an app and an operating system? We'll get into that at some point. But Gift Run activates the commercial spaces, the explorers, which are adventurous locals and travelers who want to really get to know the hidden face of a city. The cultural ambassadors, as we mentioned, can be wellness professionals leading yoga workshops, DJs, so on and so forth. Brands who want to authentically connect with the community showing up at these pop-up events. And also the cities. So in this case, Berlin, we have some great relationships with city planners, urban planners, and tourism board professionals and people on the Ministry of Culture. And they also get to be a part of this experience. And we also have a partner marketplace for any type of provider that essentially enhances the experience in a space. So that could be a specialist like I met today, a menu specialist. They help gastronomy establishments have menus that really reflect the tasting and needs of the customers. And so during Gift Run campaign, we will have each one of these stakeholders using our app to be a part of 24 events led by 12 cultural ambassadors. And apart from those 24 events, we also have a corporate Gift Run campaign where we will do 10 to 15 events that are around a partnership with a specific brand. One of those that we are working on, it's not confirmed, ladies and gentlemen, but with make.com, they're already partnering up and going on a world tour to let the world and all their users know about their new AI solutions. It's the Make AI World Tour. And we happen to be a great solution for what they need because they need access to cultural ambassadors, they need access to spaces, and they want to win the trust of the explorers who come through the cultural ambassadors in these spaces. And so those are the kinds of things for the Gift Run campaign as it relates to sales. that we are honing in on. And so, just an update, where are we on this? Landing pages have now been reviewed by the team. They've given feedback inside of a Word document on the copy, the text of the page. They have also given feedback on the design of the landing page, so the user interface. We also now have the supporting documents, a draft. So for brands, that's a case study that talks about other activations that we've done with other brands, such as cultural experiences at Afrobeats parties with brands such as Jägermeister, Ed, Amazingly Cosmetics, other I'm a piano related activations with brands like Seco Social, Berlo, so on and so forth. And for the spaces, case studies on how our solution created an uplift in foot traffic, revenue for them, repeat customers, so on and so forth. And so we have our target date set to March 1st, which is 4 weeks out from now, but we're flexible. These days, I'm realizing more and more as a founder that survival and going from surviving to thriving is actually about having a level of flexibility. Because if you think about life, the living is supple, it's flexible, it's warm. Death is rigid and hard. That's what we're taught in the Tao Te Ching, at least when you think about it through the context of ancient Chinese philosophy, which is a very important part of my life, especially now. And so maybe the campaign will actually kick off April 1st or May 1st. What we know for certain is that it's going to happen, but our objective is when we launch the right way. So today I'll share my screen and we'll go over the new partner page that I am working on for. So just a little bit of insight into how we iterate, prototype for non-technical people such as myself. I am able to get down on some basic code on our back end, but essentially we've opted for non-technical team members to use Base 44, which allows us to create an MVP. And I've learned from one of my mentors, Matt Govin, former CPO of AppFire, when it comes to internal marketing and getting buy-in from team members, you have to show instead of tell. I spent years trying to get buy-in from team members by telling them what my idea is, writing long, exhaustive documents and say, wait a minute, what if I learned the core principles of design thinking and also about user experience and user interfaces to be able to speak the language, but also be able to design on my own and show my team. And so this is an exercise to be able to contextualize for our team the opportunity with make.com. Now you might be saying, why would you show this publicly? The worst that happens is that make.com says no. But we've already had great interactions with them, a verbal interest from the decision maker as it relates to events and partnerships, that our solution is interesting to them, that they have the means, the motivation, and that the timing is right. So this is an exercise to create synergies, to show them what Gift Run is about and how they can use our Gift Run campaign in Berlin to keep the fire going now that they've, on their tour, they did the Berlin stop. Context is that I was at the event, show some photos as an overlay here for the recap of the live stream. It was the perfect use case. There was a cultural ambassador. So Maria, she has launched a community for founders, mostly solopreneurs, that's called Launch Anyway. And she's on a mission to help people like myself who have businesses or freelance hustles, how to really establish their marketing structure. And she brought out a community of people. She marketed to me through LinkedIn. I showed up. She collaborated with the space, Industrious, which is a co-working space, phenomenal, really nice, warm, high quality place to work. And there was a brand involved, make.com. And said, wow. And I detected things. Number one, from the standpoint of a user, such as a cultural ambassador, there were gaps that the current solution that Maria is using, Luma, which is, it's fantastic, right? Has some great tools, but we have some tools that they don't, such as UGC capture. Now, granted, Luma, they could hear this and be like, okay, that's an easy thing for us to implement. And they could do some tests and some surveys with their user to find out if it's something that they wanted to do. But another thing that we detected that Luma doesn't offer is partnering up with spaces for their users to host events. Most of them are zero cost, done in good faith that you bring an audience that also becomes a consumer of the space. And then the brand matching, which we also have. And from the context of the brand, what's fascinating for them is our solution to integrate them into the experience through augmented reality technology. Within our app, we do offer what's called an AR scavenger hunt. If any of you know about Pokemon Go, then you know the exercise of opening the camera on your phone and going through your city and capturing Pokemon characters and win points. Well, we do the same thing for pop-up events. And instead of unlocking Pokemon characters or capturing them, what you unlock are gifts from partners such as Make.com. It could be a free product that you get on site. One use case is if it's Jägermeister sponsoring a party, then instead of Jägermeister just handing out shots and not having any traceability, the people go through a very short scavenger hunt to, number one, know the space a bit more intimately. And then after they've done the 3 checkpoints, they unlock their QR code or voucher to go to the bar and get a shot. This is cool because for the brand, it solves a few things. Number one, UGC, branded UGC, those AR moments where they're pointing the phone or the AR glasses at an object in a space and they're seeing a floating Jaeger bottle, those get captured, shared, put into the feed of the brand inside of the athlete experience. And so we pride ourselves on being a moonshot company. We're trying to solve actually a much bigger problem just through the technologies of today. And our business model today is around subscriptions to an app. And so we're using the gift run campaign as a citywide expose of what it looks like when we activate all of our users. And so going back to Make, now that Make is continuing on their tour and they moved on, our value proposition is keep Berlin moving. We'll keep the momentum going while you're on tour in other cities. So here will be a video that I'm preparing, just talking about what I detected. So I just told you all. In reality, I could even take those as snippets and repurpose it as part of the video. Hey, Make.com, you're on tour. We witnessed how powerful it was when you activated your Berlin community last night. But what happens now that you've left? The energy dissipates, the connections fade. Ria goes back to freelancing alone. But what if partnering with us means keeping that momentum alive, activating more ambassadors like Maria while you're building community in the next city? Berlin Gift Run, Make.com. 10 dates, 10 ambassadors, 10 spaces, 1 kickoff party, AR scavenger hunt. Each pop-up event uses our AR experience to unlock Make.com gifts on site. So meet the community. Well, they already know. Maria, she's already done the Berlin meetup. And then placeholders for others. So we're doing the work of curation with them, right? So we're going to go out, identify other cultural ambassadors still relevant to using the solution of Make.com. Make.com is for non-technical people that need to build automations and workflows very easy. So that could pertain to any kind of cultural ambassador, even a musician building out their marketing lists, turning passive Instagram viewers into owned relationships, or a wellness professional hosting yoga sessions across different unique spaces in the city. So talked about some insights from Maria's campaign. So what if we can give you that multiplied by 10? And then a sample of the spaces where the events will happen. So we're then creating B2B relationships for Make, because part of the events experience will also be us doing a workshop with these space owners about how they can then integrate Make.com into their workflows. If they're a cafe, how can they use Make.com to build reward and loyalty programs, for example? So essentially, we're trying to create a reality where weDISCOVR plus Make becomes a part of the tech stack, solution stack for commercial spaces, which I think is quite clever. And then we just ask them questions about to be able to build their package. So as they answer the questions, primary goal for events, how many cities they're doing on their tour. Yeah. That should be showing something there. Oh, it does. What is their annual marketing budget for events? What matters most to them? Is it quality UGC, B2B partnership opportunities, press media coverage, scalable playbook for other cities? So right here, we're already giving them a taste of these are parts of the solution we're going to give. And then when does their next Berlin event happen? Because if we detect, for example, that they have one coming up next month, then we can already offer to be able to partner up with that ambassador so that they don't need to themselves come back to your city. So we're essentially going to be their local event production partner. Now, that doesn't mean that we per se will produce the event. We will empower other cultural ambassadors to produce, and we will be there involved on quality control. Now, this is still doing an activity that doesn't scale. The partnerships require this level of handholding because as our technology becomes more sophisticated, there will be some things that we can put in place for quality control that is more self-service. Partnership benefits: UGC from ambassadors, UGC from explorers, pro content package, B2B venue partnerships, kickoff workshop, press coverage, the AR scavenger hunt pilots. I will execute. Berlin is just the beginning. We can go to more cities. Let's make it happen. Call to action. Some people know me as mobile. This will actually say Devon Milan, but it's just my prompter. It knows me as mobile. So that's that, how we're going to break it down. Now, there are obviously mechanics behind this screen. There are mechanics behind it, such as the actual relationships that I'm nurturing with them on LinkedIn, following up with Sonia, who's their head of events, building relationships with the other team members, reaching out, being able to share some case studies. And they'll have questions. They'll, wonder things like, where's your marketing footprint? We've been able to get to where we are simply by being and going out in the community and not having an official marketing presence yet. Some might say that that's called being in stealth mode. We just call it, we've been busy with building relationships in real life, but we can still show them proof because in business, it's not trust, it's verify. And I think that is healthy for them to verify, say, show us what you've done. And so we're able to do that. And if they say that right now is not the right time, then we still add them to our CRM so that we can put them on a drip campaign so that we can continue to reach out to them and stay top of mind when they start to think about partners for AR solutions, whether it's at pop-up events or big conferences, or our solution to connect them with cultural ambassadors and spaces, creating B2B relationships, so on and so forth. I believe that this will at least get us a meeting with the decision makers. So my plan is to fix some of the UI elements, make it mobile responsive, fill in data with real people, real spaces, and then shoot my shot. I'd love to have this finished by the end of today. It's possible. I think it'll still take like another 3 or 4 hours of work to get it in a presentable place. I'm not optimizing for perfection. I'm optimizing for getting the message in front of them at the right time, in front of the right person. And we'll see what happens. So my team is hard at work on other aspects of the Gift Run campaign, which does free me up to go after some of these hot opportunities. So I'm very grateful. Thank you to Patrick, to Yaprak, to John, to Sridhar, to everybody who's making it possible. So that is where I'll leave it on the Gift Run campaign. From a founder standpoint, wellness check-in. How am I doing today? I'm under a lot of pressure and a lot of stress right now, but I feel positive about the fact that I still kept my daily promises to myself. I woke up, I did my lymphatic brushing, my cold shower, tea time. I went to the gym, I trained, did my content at the gym. This is more about just talking to other founders and other people building something. So now I'll do the edit for this and for that content, which I'm getting a better workflow for that. And then it's time to shift into, luckily I had this one meeting today, but deep focus on things like I just showed you. So that's that. It's Wednesday, the 28th of January, 2026. We're just going to keep pushing the ball forward one day at a time. The goal is to stay alive long enough to become a domain expert. So those are my expectations. Will we become a category leader? That's still to be found out. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We'll catch you next time.